The signal the night sky above Earth looked peaceful. Stars glittered like diamonds, and the moon watched silently. But deep in space, far beyond human eyes, something strange moved. A signal, a call for help traveled across the void, carrying fear and desperation. The first to hear it was a small listening station in Alaska. A young operator named Daniel sat in front of his screen, half asleep, when his console beeped. At first, he thought it was just noise. But the signal repeated again and again. The sound was sharp, filled with a strange rhythm, like a heartbeat that did not belong to humans. Daniel frowned and leaned closer. His skin turned cold. This was not a normal message. It was not from Earth. Within hours, scientists, military experts, and world leaders gathered secretly. The signal had been confirmed in alien distress call. Dr. Maria Lopez, one of the leading scientists, looked pale as she explained. This is not just a cry for help. The signal carries coordinates. Something is out there, waiting. The room grew heavy with silence. General Harrison, a man with a stern face, crossed his arms. If they're asking for help, why send it across half the galaxy? Why to us? Either they know we can help, or they know we are next. Some wanted to believe the message was genuine. Perhaps an alien race was in danger. Perhaps Earth had been chosen to help, to prove that humanity was not alone. But others feared a darker truth. Was it a trap? The debate spread quickly. World governments struggled to keep the news hidden, but secrets never last. Within days, whispers of the alien signal flooded the internet. Conspiracy theories exploded. Some said it was fake. Others swore it was the beginning of an invasion. On the streets, people looked up at the sky with new fear. Was something coming? Meanwhile, experts worked day and night to decode the full message. Each line revealed more unsettling details. The aliens were desperate, yes. But hidden inside the signal were warnings, written in patterns only careful eyes could see. Words that chilled the blood. Danger, death, war. Dr. Lopez whispered to her team, "This is no ordinary distress call. It feels more like a last warning." At the United Nations headquarters, the leaders of Earth gathered. They sat in a dark chamber, away from the cameras. Tension filled the air. President Mitchell of the United States leaned forward. "If this is real, we cannot ignore it. But if it's a trap, answering could mean the end of us all." General Harrison slammed his fist on the table. "Aliens, do not send distress calls to strangers. They sent this to test us. They want to see how we respond. If we show weakness, they will crush us." The leaders argued for hours. Some demanded peace, others demanded war. But while they spoke, the sky began to change. Satellites orbiting Earth picked up faint energy readings. Unknown objects moved in the darkness of space, slowly heading toward Earth's solar system. At first, they thought it was coincidence. But soon the truth became clear. The aliens had already heard Earth's silence. They were coming. Daniel, the young operator who first caught the signal, sat alone at his post that night. His hands trembled as he replayed the sound. The strange heartbeat echoed through the speakers, steady, endless, filled with hidden dread. He whispered to himself, "Why us? Why now?" Then suddenly his console flashed red. New data streamed in. The signal was changing. The aliens were not just calling anymore. They were replying. The final decoded message appeared on his screen, glowing like fire in the dark room. It sighed, "Answer quickly, or be destroyed." Daniel's heart pounded. He knew what this meant. The aliens were not asking for help anymore. They were demanding it. The fate of Earth now hung in a fragile balance. Would humanity answer with peace, or prepare for war? The debate the signal spread like wildfire among Earth's leaders. Behind closed doors, nations argued. Some wanted to respond with kindness. Others whispered of danger. The world stood on the edge of a decision that could change history forever. Inside the United Nations underground chamber, the atmosphere was tense. No cameras, no reporters, only the most powerful men and women on Earth. The room was dim, glowing with the light of screens showing the alien message again and again. Dr. Maria Lopez stood at the front, her voice calm but heavy. This is no ordinary call. The words hidden in the code, danger, death, or cannot be ignored. This is not just a plea for help. It is a threat disguised as desperation. The room fell silent. President Mitchell broke the silence. What if they are truly in danger? What if we ignore them, and later they prove to be allies? Can we afford to start a war without knowing? General Harrison's eyes burned with fire. Allies? Look at the sky. Our satellites already see movement. Something is coming, President. If these aliens wanted peace, they would not approach us with armed fleets. They are probing our strength, testing our will. A Chinese diplomat leaned forward, speaking softly. Perhaps we should wait. Respond carefully, not with weapons, but with words. But others disagreed. A Russian commander spoke firmly. Words will not save us if their ships are already on the way. If we appear weak, we will be destroyed before we even fire a shot. The chamber erupted in arguments. Voices clashed, leaders pointed fingers, and fear mixed with pride. Humanity's survival now depended on a single choice: answer with peace or prepare for war. While the leaders fought, ordinary people began to sense the truth. Strange leaks spread online, grainy images of objects in space, rumors of alien fleets, whispers of governments hiding the truth. Streets filled with protests. Some shouted for peace, others demanded weapons. In the shadows, Earth's militaries moved quietly. Ships were armed, warheads checked, defense systems powered. The world acted as if it wanted peace, but its hands prepared for war. Back in the chamber, Dr. Lopez pulled up a new discovery. Her face was pale. We found another layer in the message. Not coordinates this time, but timing. They gave us a deadline. The leaders leaned closer. She continued, her voice trembling. We must answer in 3 days. If we don't, it will attack. The chamber went still. 3 days. The clock was ticking. President Mitchell looked around the room. If we send peace and they fire on us, billions will die. If we send weapons and they wanted peace, we may start the very war we fear. Either way, Earth will never be the same. General Harrison leaned in, his voice like steel. President, they have already chosen war. That signal was not a request, it was a test. They see us as prey. If we wait, we will be eaten alive. But if we strike first, if we show them humanity's fire, they will learn to fear the Deathworlders. The word echoed in the chamber. Deathworlders, a name aliens once gave to humanity, long ago whispered across the stars. A warning to others. Earth is no ordinary world. The leaders sat in silence. The weight of history pressed on their shoulders. Finally, the British Prime Minister spoke. Then the choice is clear. If they want to test Earth, they will learn what it means to provoke us. No cheers followed, no applause. Only silence as each leader realized the path ahead. That night, the world changed. Orders were given in secret. Fleets were prepared. The strongest weapons of Earth were made ready. Humanity was no longer debating peace or war. The decision was made. But outside the chamber, in the vast emptiness of space, the alien fleets moved closer. Their ships glowed with cold light, like predators circling prey. And in the quiet of his small station, Daniel, the young operator, who first heard the signal stared at his console. The message pulsed again, like a heartbeat in the dark. Only, this time, the words had changed. 3 days remain. Daniel whispered to himself, fear crawling down his spine. We're running out of time. The first response to the countdown had begun. 3 days to answer. 3 days before the alien fleets arrived, in underground bases, on hidden satellites, and inside command centers. Humanity prepared. The leaders spoke of peace in public, but there, orders told another story Earth would not go down without a fight. At the North Atlantic Command Center, screens glowed with maps of the stars. Red dots showed the alien fleet drawing closer with each passing hour. The world's best minds sat in silence, waiting for orders. President Mitchell finally spoke. His voice carried across the room. We will answer their signal today. But not with silence, not with weakness. Earth must show them we are not prey. A message was prepared. Dr. Lopez worked with linguists and cryptographers, building a response in the same alien code. The words were simple. We hear you. We are ready. Approach with peace or face our fire. The message was sent. For a few hours, the world held its breath. And then, the aliens answered. Their reply was cold and sharp, a voice of metal and rage. Peace is over. Prepare for war. The control room froze. The threat was clear. General Harrison did not waste a second. Activate defense grid. Alert all fleets. The time has come. Above Earth, hidden weapons woke. Satellites armed with railguns shifted into position. Nuclear silos unlocked their codes. Submarines moved into strategic waters. For the first time in history, all of humanity stood together, not as separate nations, but as one planet facing the unknown. But the aliens were faster than expected. Within hours, telescopes captured the first images, massive ships, larger than cities, entering the solar system. They glowed with strange energy, their hulls covered in alien symbols. Daniel, still at his listening post, whispered, They're here? The first alien message was broadcast openly, no longer hidden. In code. It thundered across every frequency, reaching every ear on Earth. Humans of Earth, you were warned. Submit or be destroyed. The world erupted in chaos. Some fell to their knees, praying. Others screamed for war. Crowds filled the streets, chanting, Fight! Fight! In the skies, fighter jets scrambled. Warships armed their missiles. Humanity had made its choice. The alien fleet entered orbit. Shadows of their massive ships darkened the earth below. Cities trembled as people looked up and saw them with their own eyes. Dr. Lopez stood in the control room, her heart pounding. This is it, the first contact in history. And it begins with fire. General Harrison gave the order. His voice was like stone. Target the lead ship. Fire. A silence fell. And then the sky lit up. Dozens of missiles roared upward, breaking the air with thunder. Satellites fired beams of pure energy. Railguns unleashed their fury. The Earth struck first. The alien ship tried to shield itself, but the human weapons tore through its defenses. Explosions ripped across its massive body. Fire bloomed in space. The impossible had happened. Humans had wounded a giant. Cheers erupted. In the control room, around the world, people shouted with joy. For the first time, humanity saw that the aliens could bleed. But the victory was short-lived. The other alien ships responded instantly. Their weapons glowed with light, brighter than the sun. Bolts of energy struck Earth's satellites, shattering them like glass. Railguns melted under the heat. Entire defense stations went dark. The aliens fired on the planet itself. Blinding. Beams of destruction tore through the sky, burning the upper atmosphere, shaking the ground. Cities felt the tremors. Panic spread, but so did fury. President Mitchell's voice rang out across the command center. We will not bow. If they want war, then Earth will give them war. The humans launched wave after wave of missiles. Submarines fired their deadliest weapons. From hidden bases, humanity unleashed weapons never tested before. In the darkness of space, the first true battle between humans and aliens had begun. Daniel stared at his console, watching the signals of ships winking out human and alien alike. His chest felt heavy. So this is how it starts, he whispered. But inside his fear, there was also pride. Humanity had not surrendered. Humanity had answered. And the answer was fire. Fire and fury. The battle in orbit shook the heavens. The first exchange had shown one truth. Humanity could hurt the aliens, but the aliens could burn Earth in return. Alien ships moved like predators, swift and merciless. Their weapons lit the sky with fire. Entire defense satellites cracked apart, raining debris down through the atmosphere. Cities looked up and saw streaks of falling metal, believing the stars themselves were crashing. But Earth did not break. From the deep oceans, submarines launched missiles that split into hundreds of warheads. From the deserts, hidden silos opened, sending fire into the skies. Fighter jets flew into impossible odds, swarming alien drones like angry wasps. Every nation fought, united by survival. Inside the North Atlantic Command Center, General Harrison's voice thundered. Do not stop. Show them the fury of Deathworlders. The room shook as another alien blast hit the upper atmosphere. The screens flickered, but they stayed alive. Dr. Lopez gripped the edge of the console, whispering, Hold, just hold. On. A battlefield above. One alien ship the size of a floating city turned its guns on New York. Its cannons glowed, building energy. Millions of people watched in terror as death pointed down at them. But before the beam could fire, a secret. Weapon woke. From beneath the Atlantic Ocean. A massive launch platform rose, breaking the waves like a steel giant. It carried Earth's newest weapon, something never tested in war. A railgun the size of a skyscraper. Fire the lance. General Harrison ordered. The railgun screamed, hurling a tungsten slug at impossible speed. The projectile tore through the air, breaking the sound barrier a dozen times over, and slammed into the alien ship with unstoppable force. The ship's shields cracked. Its hull split like glass. A massive explosion painted the night sky red. The people of New York cheered as the burning wreck fell into the ocean. For the first time, humanity roared with triumph. But the aliens answered with greater fury. There, ships combined firepower, releasing storms of plasma and energy beams. Entire fleets of human warships vanished in minutes. Cities across Earth lost power. The sky burned with unnatural light. Still, Earth did not surrender. In Russia, an old general pressed a button he had sworn never to touch. From a mountain base, a weapon launched a missile carrying a warhead humans had only whispered about. It split the air, rose into space, and detonated with a blinding flash. The alien ships reeled, shields flickering under the massive pulse. Several smaller vessels were torn apart. Instantly. Dr. Lopez stared at the screens. We're actually holding them back. But Daniel, watching the signals on his console, saw something others didn't. The aliens were not retreating. They were learning. Their movements grew sharper, their shields stronger. They were adapting to human tactics. His voice shook as he whispered, They're testing us. Just like the general said. Above Earth, the aliens unleashed a weapon no human had ever seen. A beam of dark energy struck the moon itself. The surface cracked, glowing with molten rivers. Across Earth, tides raged and skies thundered. Humanity looked up in horror as their closest neighbor bled fire. Panic spread across the world. If the aliens could wound the moon, what could they do to Earth? But instead of fear, something else rose among humans' rage. President Mitchell appeared on every screen, his voice strong despite the chaos. They burn our skies, they break our moon, but they will never break us. This is our home. This is Earth. Show them why they call us Deathworlders. The world answered with fire. Every hidden weapon was unleashed. From orbiting platforms, from mountain bunkers, from deep oceans, humanity's wrath exploded in a storm of missiles, lasers, and railgun strikes. One by one, alien ships began to fall. Some exploded in silent fire. Others drifted, burning, into the void. The aliens had come with power. But humanity had answered with fury. Still, as the battle raged, Daniel saw a final signal flashing on his screen. It was not a threat. Not a demand. It was a warning, one last message from the alien fleet. This is only the beginning. Daniel's blood ran cold. If this was only the beginning, what was coming next? The hidden truth: the battle left Earth scarred but unbroken. Burning wrecks of alien ships floated in orbit like dead giants. Cities lay in ruin, but humanity still breathed, still fought. People across the planet celebrated their survival. They shouted in the streets, waved flags, and cried in relief. For the first time, humanity had defeated an enemy from the stars. But Daniel did not celebrate in his dark station. The signal pulsed again. Not from the destroyed fleet, but from far, deeper in space. The screen filled with new symbols, sharper, heavier, carrying weight like a hammer, striking an anvil. Dr. Lopez studied the code, her face pale. "This isn't from the fleet we just fought," she whispered. "This is something else, something older." The leaders gathered once again in the hidden chamber. The atmosphere was heavy, the air thick with smoke from long hours of war. President Mitchell leaned forward. "What does it say?" Lopez's voice trembled. "It says they were only scouts. The real army is coming." The room froze. "General." Harrison slammed his fist on the table. "Scouts? Those monsters were scouts." His voice shook with fury. "We bled, we lost thousands, and it was only their first wave." Daniel added quietly, "The signal, it also carries a warning. It says the true force is already on its way, and they are not days away. They are hours away." Whispers turned to shouts. Panic rippled through the leaders, but Lopez raised her hand. "There is something else." Her eyes narrowed at the screen. "Hidden deep in the signal, there's a pattern, not alien, but familiar." The leaders stared. She continued. "It's Earth's own code. Our old radio frequencies, bouncing back from space. Someone or something used our signals to build their message." President Mitchell frowned. "You're saying they know our history? Our wars? Our weapons?" "Yes," Lopez whispered. "They know us better than we know them. They've been listening for decades." A silence heavier than steel filled the chamber. General Harrison growled. "Then it's confirmed. They never wanted peace. They wanted prey. They wanted to measure us. And now they will send their full force." But Daniel wasn't convinced. He leaned closer to the console, his eyes scanning the patterns. "No. Wait. Look at this sequence. It's not a threat. It's a map." The room turned toward him. He explained, "The message splits into two parts. One side is from the aliens, the scouts who attacked us. The other side is from another source, a different hand. Maybe even their enemy." Lopez's eyes widened. "You mean someone out there is warning us?" Daniel nodded slowly. "Yes. Someone wants us to fight back. Someone wants humanity to survive." The revelation shook the leaders. Were humans pawns in a larger war? Were the scouts only testing Earth for a greater power behind them? President Mitchell's voice cut through the tension. It doesn't matter who sent the warning. What matters is the truth. A greater army is coming, stronger than the scouts. And we have only hours to prepare. General Harrison stood tall, his face like iron. Then we prepare. If they thought Deathworlders were weak, we will prove them wrong. If they bring an army, they will face a world united. But deep inside, Daniel couldn't shake the thought. If someone else was sending hidden warnings, who were they? And why would aliens help humanity? As the hours passed, the skies grew restless. Sensors picked up energy ripples at the edge of the solar system. The second wave was approaching larger. Faster, unstoppable dot on Earth, people saw strange lights streaking across the night sky. Some prayed, some screamed, others raised weapons. Dr. Lopez stared at the data one last time. It's true. The scouts were nothing. The real storm is coming. Daniel leaned back, whispering words no one else heard. If they wanted to test Earth, then they'll learn the hardest truth of all. Deathworlders don't die easy. The alarms blared. Screens lit up. The second invasion had arrived. Asterisk, the second invasion. The first war had ended with fire, but the sky did not stay dark for long. Within hours, telescopes screened with new readings. Something vast was entering the solar system. Not one fleet, not 10. Hundreds. Alien ships spread across the void like a swarm of predators. Their lights burned brighter than stars, and their shadows covered the planets. The scouts had been terrifying, but this was a storm of war. On Earth, alarms never stopped. Cities braced for impact. Families crowded into bunkers. Soldiers armed themselves, knowing they might never return. In the command center, screens filled with red warnings. General Harrison stood firm, though his jaw was tight. So, the real army comes at last, he growled. President Mitchell's voice was calm, but heavy with weight. We fight until the last human breath. But we don't fight like before. Not just missiles, not just ships. We use everything. Dr. Lopez looked pale. But our defenses are shattered. Our satellites are gone. Our fleets are broken. Not all of them, Harrison said sharply. He pressed a button, revealing a hidden file. Across the screens appeared images of weapons never shown to the public, machines buried under mountains, satellites disguised as debris, entire bases, hidden under oceans. These are the Earth lances, Harrison declared, built in secret, waiting for this day. Daniel's eyes widened. You mean, all along, humanity knew they were coming? The general didn't answer. His silence was enough. Above Earth, the alien swarm drew closer. Their weapons hummed, their energy shaking the very air. And then they struck. Beams of burning light lashed out, slamming into Earth's defenses. Entire mountain bases melted. Skies turned red as firestorms ripped across the atmosphere. Oceans boiled where energy blasts struck. The world trembled. Humanity screamed, but Earth answered. From the deserts, the mountains, the oceans, the hidden lances awoke. Giant cannons rose from the ground, glowing with power. Subterranean bases unleashed swarms of drones armed with railguns. From orbit, disguised satellites flickered to life, their weapons firing beams of raw plasma. The second war began in full. Missiles streaked upward like angry comets. Railguns ripped through alien shields. Entire alien cruisers exploded under Earth's fury. For every human city burned, another alien ship fell, but the enemy's numbers were endless. For every ship destroyed, 3 more entered orbit. There, weapons adapted, shields shifting colors as they learned to resist human fire. Daniel sat at his console, watching the data streams. His hands trembled. We can't kill them all. There are too many. Lopez leaned closer, whispering. Then, we don't kill them all. we find the command ship. We cut off the head. Her words carried weight. Harrison turned sharply. She's right. Every army has a leader. Every fleet has a heart. Find it, and we end this. The search began. Satellites scanned the swarm. Radars screamed. At last, a single ship appeared on the screens, larger than the rest. Its core glowed with energy like a dying sun. The command ship. Harrison slammed his fist down. That's the one. Every weapon, every last missile, aim at it. The order spread. Across the planet, weapons locked on the massive target. From submarines, silos, satellites, every possible launcher prepared. The alien fleet must have realized the danger. They swarmed around the command ship like guards, throwing themselves into the path of missiles, blocking the railgun shots. Dozens of alien cruisers sacrificed themselves to shield their leader, but Earth did not stop. Humanity kept firing, wave after wave, until the stars burned with fire. Finally, one missile broke through. A warhead built in secret, heavier than anything before, struck the command ship's shield. The shield cracked, screaming with light. Another missile struck. Then another. The command ship shuddered. Its hull split. Fire erupted across its surface. For a moment, hope surged through Earth. Cheers rose in command centers, in bunkers, in streets. The impossible was happening again. Humanity was bringing down a god. But before the command ship fell, it sent one last signal. Daniel's console lit up. His face went white. No, this isn't the end, he whispered. It's calling something else. Lopez's hands shook. Something. Bigger? The screens filled with new readings. At the edge of the solar system, a tear in space itself began to open. A gate of burning light. And from it, something vast stirred. Bigger than fleets. Bigger than any ship. Something ancient. Something alive. Daniel whispered. It wasn't just an invasion fleet. It was an opening act. The real war was only beginning. Asterisk. The final hour, the skies of Earth burned red as the alien command ship died. Its wreckage drifted across space, glowing like a shattered star. Humanity cheered, believing the war was finally theirs. But their cheers did not last. At the edge of the solar system, the rift widened. A wound in space itself, glowing with violet light. It pulsed like the heartbeat of a beast too large to imagine. Daniel stared at the readings. His voice shook. It's not a fleet. It's a gate. Through the burning crack, shadows moved. Massive, slow, deliberate. Dr. Lopez whispered, Dear God. Those weren't the invaders. They were only servants. The first shape emerged, a creature so vast it blotted out the stars. It wasn't a ship, it was alive. Its body was covered in black scales like mountains of steel. Its eyes glowed like suns, each one larger than a city. Humanity had thought the aliens terrifying, but this thing was beyond terror. It was ancient. It was hunger given form. The alien swarm fell silent. Their ships turned, bowing toward the beast like soldiers kneeling before a king. President Mitchell's voice broke through the chaos. What is that? Lopez answered with trembling words. If the scouts called themselves conquerors, then this is their god. The beast opened its mouth, and a roar rolled across space, shaking every planet, every star. On Earth, glass shattered. Oceans rose, mountains cracked. Humanity fell to their knees under the sound of doom. General Harrison refused to bend. I don't care if it's a god. We'll kill it like the rest. He ordered every weapon to fire. Railguns screamed, missiles roared, satellites unleashed beams. A storm of human fury struck the beast and vanished. The creature's scales shimmered. Every weapon turned to dust against its hide. The railgun slug shattered. The missiles burned. Away. It was untouchable. For the first time, even Harrison's voice faltered. Nothing. Nothing is hurting it. Panic spread. If humanity's greatest weapons meant nothing, what hope was left? But Daniel noticed something strange. On his console, deep within the signal still pulsing from the rift, a second voice echoed. Not alien, not the beast. Something else. He leaned. Closer. His eyes widened. Wait, there's another presence. Something fighting it. Something trying to help us. Lopez snapped her head toward him. Another alien? No, Daniel whispered. Something older. Something hidden in the stars. It's calling for us. The signal poured into Earth's systems, activating codes no human had written. Across the world, ancient machines hidden deep underground rumbled awake. Massive structures, pyramids, stone circles, forgotten ruins glowed with light. The truth hit Lopez. These aren't just human ruins. They're keys, left here, waiting for this moment. Energy surged through Earth itself. The ground shook as light spread across continents. Beams shot from mountains, deserts, oceans, all converging upward. The beast roared, sensing danger. It turned its colossal eyes toward Earth. Daniel shouted, "It's not our weapons. Earth itself is the weapon." The beams joined together in orbit, forming a single blinding spear of light. A weapon not built by humans, but left for them by whoever had once fought this creature before. Fire it. Harrison roared. The spear launched, cutting through space, striking the beast square. In the chest. For the first time, its scales cracked. A scream rolled across the galaxy, louder than any explosion. The alien swarms scattered in panic. Their god was wounded, but the beast did not die. It pulled itself forward, furious now, bleeding fire from beneath its wounds. The rift widened further. More shadows stirred behind it. Daniel's face went pale. That wasn't enough. We only heard it. Lopez clenched her fists. Then we fire again. The ancient weapon glowed, preparing for one last strike. But the beast was faster. Its eyes burned, and from its mouth, a beam of dark energy erupted. Lashing toward Earth, the planet shook. The oceans rose higher. Cities collapsed. Humanity screamed as the death of their world approached. And then, silence. The beam froze midair, stopped by another force above Earth. A new figure emerged, smaller than the beast, but glowing like a star. Its wings stretched across the heavens, its light blinding. It wasn't human. It wasn't alien. It was something else, something watching all along. Daniel whispered in awe. The one who left the ruins, they've returned. The god-beast roared. The star being answered. The final hour of Earth had come not just for humans, but for the galaxy itself. Asterisk.